What's up, guys? Welcome to Laws Planning the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota, despite the efforts of larger, older, sillier men to try and remove them. Remove it. Remove me? Undo me? I guess? Let me explain the mute button, okay? OBS switched. I don't know how. Something I did, I'm sure. But OBS switched it. Oh, look at that banner is wrong. Woo! Gentlemen, let's get this fixed up. Beep, boop. Boop, beep. I am a turbocock. All right. There we go. Got that fixed. Oh. Yeah, updating the banner is a thing that's 2018. Okay. It's a thing I do at the start of every stream because I never remember to do it. I never remember. And it's a deficiency, and I will attempt to overcome. But anyway, so, oh my goodness, I better mute this. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. I know this is later at night than normal, and for that, I apologize. I would love to blame it on the YouTube outage, but I was actually just spending the evening with Lady Rackets and, having a movie night with us, and that was fun. So, but now we're going to talk about Maddox for a little bit. Get back to the basics, they say. Get back to where it all started. And as you know, or don't know, I don't know, if you're newish to the channel, you haven't seen a lot of Maddox stuff, but this is kind of where it started, covering a lawsuit between Maddox and Dick Masterson for $20 million in New York, though both of them are in LA, in what has got to go down in history as one of the dumbest lawsuits there ever was. It's got to go down that way. But, that's where we are. So, I covered this lawsuit. This is, again, for you, for the new people. I covered this lawsuit. That's how my channel started. And ever since then, Maddox has been mum's the word on talking about my show or talking about the lawsuit in general, which is fine. That's not a criticism of Maddox. Like, I need him to talk about me. Don't care. Was never the goal of this show was never to get Maddox's attention in any way. It was actually just it was out there solely to provide entertainment and education for you guys, for whoever wants to watch it. That's who you guys are. So tonight we're going to be talking about the past week. Dr. Nurse. And if you don't know who Dr. Nurse is, you may see her name pop up as I scroll over this stuff because that's how Twitter does things. But Dr. Nurse is a former friend of Maddox, had lots of conversations with him, and for whatever reason, has decided to release the contents of some parts of those conversations, and some of them pertain to me. And so we're going to talk about them. As you can see on your screen, Maddox has a very high opinion of me, and that is good. These pricks are garbage humans, and Nick is near the top of the poop heap. You're choosing to communicate with him. And this is true. This is true. I have been talking with Dr. Nurse for a while, and I will not disclose the specific contents of our private communications, but I will give you guys a general background story of what was going on. Because this is all the behind the scenes goss, right? The behind the scenes stuff that you guys don't get, and you know, it's just part of it all. So I thought a dive into the lore would be helpful. Does that sound good to you guys? A little dive into the background of this. To do that, I picked up a special whiskey for tonight. So I'm going to do a quick whiskey review, because that's, again, this is all part of the original experience. If you're new here, this is part of the original experience. So here we go. I picked up this Whistle Pig 10-year rye whiskey. This is 100 proof. And we're going to give it a little review ski and see how that goes. Smells like rye. Scottius Maximus the First, thank you, sir, says, for being the king of our glorious Shastarisk heap, all hail. All hail right back to you, buddy. And Nicholas Allen says, yeet. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Let me pour just a little bit of this guy. Whoo-wee. Rye whiskeys, in my experience, I haven't had a bunch of them. I've only had a couple ryes. They're straight to the point, right? There's no nonsense about them. They have that moonshiny sort of taste, very direct and heavy on the alcohol. They're not subtle. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say with more billable hours attached, not subtle. So here we go. Okay. It's potent. It's good. It's pretty smooth, actually. Like it's got a nice kick to the rye. It's pretty smooth going down, which is a shock. It's strong in the mouth. Smooth going down. This is also being uploaded to Pornhub tomorrow. I'm just kidding. That was a joke. Probably a bad joke. Was that a dad joke? I don't know. So anyway, this is very good for a rye whiskey. It's very smooth. It doesn't have the acetone. It does have a very strong alcohol flavor, but it's not like a gasoline-y or very acrid flavor. So it's good stuff. I would recommend it. It's they had a couple different Whistle Pigs at the liquor store. I did not buy the 15-year. The 15-year is like $200, and I thought that was a little much for a starter. never having the brand, but that's good stuff. Just for the benefit of traffic hazard, Whistle Pig straight rye whiskey 10-year. Very good stuff. It's from Vermont, from the great state of Vermont, which will not apologize for its cheese. All right, guys. Screwface Romeo, I apologize, buddy. It just had to do it. Waking up at 7 a.m. for civil procedure is the worst thing I can think of. I had a very good civil procedure professor. It didn't help. Man, I hate Civ Pro. All right. So, Dr. Nurse, let me do the backstory, and then we'll start going through some of these tweets. Okay, so back in, gosh, this was early summer. It was early summer. I was down in Florida with my family. Tillip says 1 like equal 1 garbage human. Let's bring the garbage humans straight out, guys. So I was down in Florida with my family, and goss was flying all over the place. And at the time, I had a couple trolls, and these trolls were from the Maddox camp, so to speak. They were bothering me on Twitter. They were posting pictures of me in blackface. Yes, it's a real picture. No, it's not what you would consider technically blackface. You've probably heard the story. I'm not going to tell it again here. Maybe I'll tell it on Halloween because it's a Halloween story. But, you know, so they were posting this picture, tagging groups like the NAACP, tagging the ACLU, tagging the Minnesota State Bar Association, all sorts of fun Twitter antics, trying to get me, I don't know. Oh, they tagged Tariq Nasheed as well, which I thought was rude because that guy's such a tool. So, anyway, so this is all going on. I had a couple people dedicated to doing this. Now, amongst these people was Dr. Nurse. All right. Now, Dr. Nurse was not in the same category of troll. Dr. Nurse had been given some information about me by a concerned troll, and given kind of a one-sided story. So Dr. Nurse thought that I was kind of a bad person, and that's I have to be very clear. I have no ill will or bad feelings towards Dr. Nurse at all. We have had pleasant communications, even at the start, even when there was a misunderstanding. You know, and I'm going to tell that story a little bit. So, Dr. Nurse and I, she was we were going back and forth on Twitter a little bit, and she hinted at some ethical accusations of me. Just hints, though. Just hints about ethical accusations, saying I was acting improperly in my professional capacity. And so, I talked to her, and eventually, I don't know how, but we got to direct messaging, because this wasn't something to air out in public, right? And if someone has a problem with my professional integrity, then I certainly want them to talk to me about it. One, to save them time, because it's probably a misunderstanding. I don't act unethically. And two, because if someone's got something where they think that I'm acting unprofessionally, I want to know about it so I can address that, because, you know, I do value my integrity somewhat. Okay. You know, I will get things wrong. I can and will get things wrong, in any context. I'm human. So, but my personal goal is to correct mistakes. If I have hurt someone or offended someone, I typically, and didn't mean it, you know, I want to make sure that gets addressed. So I asked her to talk to me about these accusations, and we got to talking back and forth, and she explained to me what had been relayed to her. So what I did was correct the record, so to speak. I provided some information about the information that she had, which was, of course, one-sided, skewed, from a very unreliable source, Mr. H. You know who you are. From a very unreliable source, and it was meant to cause me harm, and represent something that I didn't do, but someone else did as me. So we got this cleared up. And in our conversations, you know, we basically came to a nice resolution and said, you know what? We've talked to each other. You guys, I was like, Dr. Nurse, you're not a bad person. She said, Rekieta Law, you're not a bad person either. So, since then, we've had very cordial conversations, not much craziness. You know, I've asked her for just, little bits and pieces of information here and there. Nothing ridiculous, right? Like, just if someone was talking about me, and saying something, I might ask what they were talking about or where that came from, because I don't want me to be misrepresented to other people. Specifically, I have not wanted me to be misrepresented to Maddox, because somewhere deep down in my programming, I still have hope for Maddox, and a great redemption arc. I really do. I really do. I think whatever is, things take control of people all the time. And so whatever's got a hold of Maddox, I hope he gets past it and is able to look back and become the Maddox that was funny again. I really do. So I've never actually held malice towards Maddox. He has done some things that have made me mad. He's done some things that baffle me. And he's done plenty of things that I think are absolutely stupid. But, I've always held an open invitation for him on the show. And still do, Maddox. Please respond to my letter, my friend. But yeah. So Maddox found out that Dr. Nurse was talking to me and was not trying to murder me, that we were on good terms. And that is where I come up in these conversations and in these leaks. So that's the basic gist of the context, guys, is that Dr. Nurse and I have been on and off very casually messaging for a while, just as I would message with anyone else. Whenever there's a particular subject that is common interest to us, we would discuss it. Because shockingly, there's lots of overlap between nurses and lawyers, in that we both deal with people in crisis. So there's interesting conversations to be had. Nothing crazy or salacious. Get your minds out of any gutters. With that said, whatever happened between her and Maddox is between her and Maddox, but she has released some of the private conversations that she has had with him. So we're going to talk about those as they pertain to me. Marsupial Gamer, she is Dr. Nurse because she is a nurse, but she has a PhD as well. So she is literally a doctor who is also a nurse. She doesn't have an MD, so she's not a medical doctor, but she has a PhD and is a nurse as well. So there we go. All right, guys. But is he a cuck? I mean, he seems to be. Okay, so we've gone through this little tweet. These pricks are garbage humans, and Nick is near the top of that heap. You're choosing to communicate with him. I still don't know. I don't know why I'm a garbage human. I'll take it. I'll take it all day. That's fine. I've been called worse, and that's okay. But I'm not sure what I did to get there, Maddox. But and the dumb thing is, I know Maddox has watched, like, from the context of some of these releases, I know Maddox has watched quite a bit of my show. So he has to know that many times I have stopped and said, seriously, Maddox, you need to look into Landau. He's screwing you, I think. You need to talk about the conversations you've had with him, maybe with another attorney, and get an opinion, because I think he's treating you unethically. And I still maintain that. I still maintain that Landau, I think, was very unethical towards Maddox, did a very poor job of representing him, and may, if Asterios and his spite campaign have their way, may end up costing Maddox a lot of money from sanctions. And if that happens, man, I hope the judge sticks him to Landau more than Maddox, because I firmly believe, just based on my gut intuition and how I read the situation, I firmly believe that Maddox was taken in by a smooth-talking lawyer who seems to have a history of bailing when things get rough, doesn't he? We've talked about this before. Almaciga was a bad case, Kevin Landau. We've talked about other cases where he has sued his clients for money after bailing on representation, and you should, right, if you do the work. And then tonight we will talk about Rovier Carrington, Rovier Carrington is the alleged grandson of Mo from the Three Stooges, who was allegedly raped by some producers, some very high-level producers. They have all been sued along with a bunch of other companies in pure Landau fashion. And now the Landau group has bailed on that lawsuit. So I haven't pulled all the documents yet. So there might be some boomer hour as I try and get some of those set up. But I covered the case initially, very early on. And then now we're back to that case. But it moved. It moved out of New York and it moved into out of New York state courts and it moved into district court because, Landau didn't serve parties. Shocker. Shocker. Landau failed to serve crucial parties to the action initially and then it got removed. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. I have, Vladimir, I have heard about the case, but I haven't read it. I'll be reading up on it soon. I'm curious to see what they say about the public access thing. The Supreme Court case that they'll be hearing, it's not Supreme Court case, like Supreme Court case, that here were the air quotes, where they could end the censorship on social media. Color me skeptical, but we'll see. Okay. Here we go, guys. Quick rundown of my situation with Maddox. I've been covering his lawsuit since it started. That's the rundown of my situation with Maddox. I know, other than that, the only contact I've ever had with Maddox was on the Biggest Problem fan page. I had one, I think, discussion with him about homeschooling. I might have had another discussion with him, but I don't think so. It was a very short discussion on the Facebook app for the original Biggest Problem about homeschooling. Maddox is not a fan of homeschooling. My wife and I homeschool our children. So we had an argument there, and I'll let people figure that out. How that went, you can maybe guess. I don't know. And then, the only other interaction with him I remember is on Doug TenNaples' show when I did a super chat to him, and he responded with all sorts of nice things to say, calling me a stalker and saying that I go around in blackface. So that's the extent of my situation with Maddox. But these are new revelations about what Maddox has said to Dr. Nurse in private about me and other things. We're going to talk about this because, guys, this is the sign. These are the signs. You can take that as you will. These are the signs. All right, here we go. So blue, of course, is going to be Dr. Nurse, and gray is going to be Maddox. Now, these are in no particular order. These are in the order they appear, most recent to first on Twitter. I have no idea. I have tried to follow along, but I don't know if I've actually seen any of these that I've seen. I've seen some. I haven't seen all of them. That's what I'm trying to say. Scott Severin, what about that cease and desist? He has not responded yet. Okay, so Dr. Nurse says, but wouldn't you go bear with someone? But you wouldn't go bear with someone you just met. I'm guessing they're talking condom use. Otherwise, maybe they're just talking about hand-holding. I hope. The STD rate is low. However, you never know with new people. Pulling out isn't the most reliable. I have 2 friends who got knocked up that way. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's fun but risky. Kind of turns me on. But I'd rather not worry about it and ejaculate where I want. Where do you like it? Oh, okay. Well, that went south quickly. Okay, so here we go. This is, I know the context a little bit of this message, and I'll provide that context now because this string of messages from Maddox is related to me. One of the trolls on Twitter had conversed with Dr. Nurse, one of the trolls of me, one of my people trying to, I don't know, wreck my career or something. I don't know what their actual intent was. Whatever it was, they engaged with me on Twitter unrelentingly, constantly. It was frustrating. Any post that I made, especially to someone else, they would interject their opinion, and typically accompany it with a picture of me in blackface. So I don't know, whatever. So after Dr. Nurse and I were on good terms, I asked her if that person, if she knew who that person was. She said she did not know specifically. And I asked if that person was Metal Jess, Maddox's ex-girlfriend, just because they seemed to indicate in their posts that they were Metal Jess. They seemed to indicate that they were, which could absolutely be a lie. And I actually reached out to Metal Jess, who talked to me and suggested that she was not the person behind the account, but I don't know. Okay. But anyway, before that, I had asked Dr. Nurse if it was Jess, and she apparently relayed that question to Maddox, asking who this person was, if it was Jess. So that's the context here. Here we go. I really don't think it's Jess. This is Maddox talking. No idea who that is. Here's what that I believe 0%. Okay, I believe 0% that Maddox did not know who that account was. That I will never believe that. Here's what you need to understand about Jess in this whole situation. This is interesting to me. She suffered actual trauma from the constant rape and death threats and harassment. Now, the constant rape and death threats were from a Maddox fan named Mr. Burgers. Okay? All of those screenshots in the lawsuit about calling her racial slurs and saying she needed to get raped and all that stuff were from Mr. Burgers. Mr. Burgers on the biggest problem live shows that they did on YouTube, originally posted the first get raped comment, which became a running meme for the show because of Maddox. Maddox thought it was very funny that this get raped thing became a meme. He brought it in as a comment. He talked about it, and then Mr. Burgers ran with it. After the lawsuit dropped, Mr. Burgers sent an email to Dick, I think it was, and basically confessed to all of this, saying, it was me. I don't, really apologize. I don't know what to say about what I did, but it was him who did it. He admitted to pretty much all of it being him, just trolling and screwing around, and then now realizing how serious it was doing this. But he came out and said that very publicly and apologized for it. So it's important to remember that all of the trauma that was suffered by Metal Jess that was attributed to Dick and his fans has been claimed by a guy that Maddox liked called Mr. Burgers, and who was a fan of Maddox's show. I don't know if he still is, or I don't know how long that fandom lasted, but that's the gossip. And he could be lying too. We don't know. Steven Severin. You mean Steven Severin? Oh, I called you Scott? I am so sorry, sir. I am so sorry. Please forgive me. No one needs to be called Scott when they're not Scott. I apologize. Holy cats, there's two Severins. Scott and Steven. Are you guys related? I hope so. All right, let's get back to this. She suffered actual trauma from the constant rape and death threats and harassment to the point where she fainted and is having panic attacks and anxiety. She physically can't read this stuff because it will shut her down. I don't know if I believe this, because when I talked to Jess, she said, it's all Twitter, it's all made up, it's all pretend. Now, maybe that was her coping mechanism. Maybe she was on something. I don't know. But I won't discount that she had actual trauma, but the fainted and panic attacks and anxiety might have just been physical proximity to Maddox, because that does that to women. Hey, what's up, Maddie P? Oh, your brothers. Okay, sorry. Yeah. There you go. Okay, so she physically can't read this stuff because it will shut her down. So when the lawsuit stuff happened, Maddox, she's a named party in the lawsuit. It didn't happen to her. She participated in it. Just like you. That's like you saying as the other plaintiff that the lawsuit happened to you. It didn't happen. You two engaged in this. She had no reason to engage in the lawsuit. None. None at all. She should not have been a party to that lawsuit. You shouldn't have either, but at least you had some articulable claim that could maybe be tied to Dick and Asterios. Jess had nothing that could be tied to either of them, and you dragging her into it was a bad move. Or Landau dragging her into it was a bad move. And I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, because I'm pretty sure you're just dumb. All right? I'm pretty sure you're just a dummy walking around, and I think here's what happened. I think Landau, because he has a couple other cases that seem entirely predicated on #MeToo and really weak on facts, because of that, I bet money almost that Landau said, you know what we really need? What would really make your case better would be as if you included Jess in this lawsuit with, we'll bring her in anonymously so she doesn't have to deal with any of it. You got to ask the court for that, idiot. We'll bring her in anonymously so she doesn't have to deal with it. But if we can use the #MeToo momentum and we can really talk about the sexual assault threats and the real threats that she received as a woman, we'll convince the judge that these are evil, nasty, disgusting people as a group, and we'll attach them as a group strategically to your case. Even though the people on Candid, the app that you endorsed, you dumb cuck, the people on Candid coming on and calling her names anonymously, saying she needs all sorts of rape threats or whatever, and calling her racial slurs, that has nothing to do with your case. Nothing to do with it. And you didn't even really include that as causes of action. You didn't even really have a solid harassment case for the benefit of plaintiff Jane Doe. Like, in your cause of action, you just didn't really do that very well. It was lumped in with you. It was bolstering your claims. And I think because you're dumb and don't know what you're doing, and you are relying on counsel, and you are so dumb you hired a dumb lawyer, you hired a scumbag lying lawyer, and quote me, Landau, you're a scumbag lying lawyer, in my humble opinion, only based on the documents that you submit that have countless lies in them. I bet he took you for the fool, and you added your girlfriend and subjected her to more trauma and abuse because the handsome man who's this tall, whatever, I don't think I can get tall enough on my camera to show how short he is, the little manlet convinced you to. I think that's what happened, because I don't think you actually wanted to subject Jess to this lawsuit, and I don't think Jess wanted to be a part of it. But I bet Landau convinced you to do it because he thought #MeToo would be the thing, the nail in the coffin. And once you exposed all the rapist fans that you alleged belonged to Dick Masterson, that would tie to Dick and Asterios. Because you hired a scumbag, Maddox! All right. Okay. Moving on. So when the lawsuit stuff happened, I shielded her from it and tried to deal with as much of it myself as I could. I mean, I guess, whatever. So for her to know this much about him is very unlikely. So he's talking about me. Jess doesn't know anything about me. Fine. Good. Good. I don't need any interaction with Jess. She should move on with her life. She physically can't read this stuff. It's making her ill. As for Nick, there's the blackface stuff. What is the blackface stuff, Maddox? What actually is it? I know your little lapdog that likes to lick at your man parts. I know that he has misrepresented what it is over and over and over again. But I bet you don't even know. And I bet you don't even know because when you went on Doug TeNaples' show and talked about me going around in blackface, that demonstrated that you have no idea what the true story is, or you intentionally lied about it. So what is it, Maddox? What is that stuff? And what does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything? Next, the Underdick Facebook group. Yes, the Underdick Facebook group. Let's talk very quick about the Underdick Facebook group, though I will not reveal any details about the Underdick Facebook group. Other than this, whatever you've heard about it is probably wrong, is likely a joke or a meme, and it should stay that way forever. However, I was in the Underdick Facebook group, and whatever Legion of Doom music needs to play right now, play it. Oh, I missed a super chat from Gojirify FB. Yes, buddy. Let me do this. I'm not going to I typically do a 1 drink per hour rule. I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm not going to drink more. I have to be up kind of early tomorrow to substitute for someone at a meeting. And so I'm not going to drink. This is probably my last alcoholic drink. I will have these 2, and then I will move on to sweet tea. So, let me talk about, here's what I think Maddox is talking about, the Underdick Facebook group. I don't know. Oh, wait, no, I do know how he found out about this, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit. Okay. There was one other member that I will talk about, but I won't talk about him by name, of the Underdick Facebook group. Now, the Underdick Facebook group was just a group of people having fun outside of the main Dick Show Facebook group. That's literally it. All the nefarious stuff and crazy rumors you may have heard are just crazy rumors and nefarious stuff. It's just a group of guys. You know quite a bit of them if you've been on the Facebook group at all since the Dick Show started. And most of them are just absolutely normal members of the group. Whatever that means. But there was one member, and this member was in the group, and this member did something a little bit wild on his own. Okay? And then here is, I'm not going to talk about the details of what this person did. That's not my story to tell. But I will tell you this. That person was kicked out of the Dick Show Facebook group entirely. That person, for breaking the rules of the Facebook group, that person then went to Maddox's show for whatever reason. And that person accused me of doing what that person did. Okay? And it involved doxing of a particular person. Guys, I don't dox people. I don't know how to do that. I can barely function on the internet as it is. So like finding out the identity of people that I don't care about and then trying to find their private information and exposing that, not me. I didn't do that. I don't do that. Don't care. If I did stuff like that where I was like maliciously trying to cause harm to people, I would put my law license in jeopardy. So I don't do that as a rule. So let's be clear. But this person, whom Maddox hates, might I add, told Maddox that I did these things. Maddox told the reason I know this is because Maddox told Dr. Nurse that I did these things. And this person has also told other people like Anthony Fantano that I did these things. After I went on Anthony Fantano's show, Anthony messaged me and said, "What's this I hear about you doxing people?" All right. That's this person who's still really butthurt that he's a moron. Okay. So that is that story. That is the Underdick Facebook group. Maddox is literally taking the words of someone that he hates and attributing that side of the story to other people because of his hatred of Dick. Okay? So that's what's going on there, and it's entirely misattributed, and it's Maddox, stop it. Stop it. You're dumb. And you're being just taken for a ride because you're so blindly emotional. It's almost funny. Okay, it is funny. Okay, and finally, and he also received gifts of whiskey, which is not true. I received a gift of whiskey from Dick that he didn't disclose on his show, and I did kind of disclose it. I talked about it in a couple places, and Dick specifically talked about it. However, what I said on my show, it was a bottle of Balmore 18. It was delicious. I think, here we go. Here it is. Here's the bottle of whiskey that Dick Masterson gave me. It was very nice. At the time that I got it, I said, look, I'm not going to talk about who gave this to me. It's a friend. A friend gave me this, and I really appreciate it. I will let him disclose where the bottle came from. And he did in a story on his show when he talked about how he got a very good deal on that bottle of whiskey. And Jamie Lynn Hughes was with him. So, saying that I didn't disclose a gift as if it was some sort of weird ethical issue is not true. I talked about it, and then Dick confirmed that Dick gave more details of the story, and I have no problem saying that Dick gave me that whiskey. I did not ask Dick for whiskey. I did not exchange legal services for whiskey. I wish I would do that more often, but I don't do that. I only take cash or check. So that was not a thing. Whatever Maddox is trying to imply. Let me be clear on that. But I do very much appreciate that gift from Dick, and it was great. Great whiskey. Next, he said, a friend sent this to me. Very true. A friend did send that to me. Absolutely. And I believe I also said it with like a giant wink because it was kind of like a known event. It was an inside joke that wasn't very inside. It's about as far as inside as Maddox gets. All right. Then he claimed they weren't friends. Well, yes. At the time, I'm not personal friends with Dick Masterson. I'd like to consider him a friend now. We've had much more interaction on Twitter, and I've got to meet him a couple times, and he seems like a great guy. So I would consider him a friend in that respect. Would I consider him the type of friend I could call on and ask to help move? Well, no. I think we all know the answer to that. He also lives like 1,800 miles away. I hope to visit him sometime. And all of my interactions with Dick have been like pretty much universally positive. So yeah. He also personally harassed me on YouTube and Twitter. Maddox, I don't think I ever harassed you on Twitter. I don't think so. Because I've been blocked by you on Twitter since before having the opportunity to interact with you. So I think that's a lie. How much time would I get for a bottle of Fireball? Time? What do you mean? Legal time? About the 3 minutes it would take me to scream you out of my office. He also was friends with a person on Facebook who was impersonating my lawyer. Guys, maybe I'm friends with him on Facebook. I don't know. I actually don't know. He's talking about Kev the Lawyer on Twitter. Kev the Lawyer is a parody account, not an impersonating account, a parody account, making fun of the dog bite lawyer, Kevin Landau. Kev the Lawyer is hilarious. If I ever got the chance to meet Kev the Lawyer in person and be friends with him, I think I would in a heartbeat. He seems like a very funny guy. So there's that. Maddox. Whew. And here's the creme de la creme, in my opinion. I believe his goal with his series, my 45 videos on Maddox, was to bias public opinion against me and to taint a possible jury. Maddox, no! No! What on earth are you talking about? Taint a possible jury? Do you know how many people are in New York City that are jury pool? I would love to taint a jury in New York with my show. I would love to have the 4 million views from New York City that would be required to taint a jury on my show. That would be great. I could probably retire after just that video, because if I'm getting 4 million views in New York, I'm getting that's 100 million views on YouTube. That video would make me a fortune. What are you talking about, you dummy? There's no way I could taint a jury in New York based on my video series, sir. No. Not even close. Maddox, news stories run stories about ongoing legal issues. Biased stories. Zimmerman was all over the news. All over it. Didn't taint a jury. Michael Brown, Darren Wilson, all over the news. Riots in the streets. Protests being covered. Commentators talking about Darren Wilson cops shooting black people. Commentators talking about reviews of those police departments and how they had racially imposed their will. Didn't taint the jury. Darren Wilson still got off. Maddox, if you think especially back then, with less than 5,000 subscribers, if you think I had a chance or a prayer at tainting a jury in New York, buddy, I don't think you need... Maybe this is all your plan to sound like not a competent person to represent yourself at trial. There's no way. There's no way. I would love to do it. I would love to have that kind of authority, because that means I'm entertaining millions of people. And if I can entertain and make smile millions of people, then my impact on the world will be a positive one. And that would be great. But I have no illusions that I'm there or will ever get there. My goal... Let me break down something for you guys. If you'll allow me to digress and get a little philosophical on you. Gatscat says, "Sup, Angry Dad Rackets. Heard you were involved on jury tampering. I'm amazed at how many angles you had covered with your secret harassment group too." Yeah, I mean, it is pretty impressive. Let me wax philosophical for a little bit and talk about something that I think learned. It's a conclusion that I'm working on. I won't say I've come to it all the way. Because do you come to conclusions really before you die on big issues? I don't know. But right now, here's where I sit. When I got out of college, if you don't know, I was a literature and creative writing major. And my goal in life was to write screenplays and books and entertain people. That was my goal in life. Okay? And then I had a wife and a child to take care of. And that goal collided with the practical reality of providing and my obligation to my family. And so, which I think personally, I have made the correct choices in life with how that played out. But I went to school to be a writer, and to entertain people. I wanted to tell stories. I didn't get to do that right away. So instead I went into banking and finance, because it paid bills and I'm good at that type of stuff. And so we, spent years doing banking and finance. It's what I had kind of done to pay bills during summers in college and stuff like that. Now, my original goal in life was to influence positively as many people as possible. I wanted to make an impact on the world. I had been told my entire childhood growing up that I could make impacts on the world. I could make an impact. I could be famous. I don't know if famous is the right word, but I was seeking the influence that fame gave. Whether or not I wanted the fame itself was irrelevant. I'm not trying to be like virtuous. I'm just talking about what my perspective was. I wanted to be able to make people happy and to entertain them. And then as time went on, I changed my perspective a little bit. Instead of trying to focus on making an impact on the world, I thought, what I need to focus on is making an impact on the people near me, and not focus on making an impact on the people who are out there, right? Just be good to those around me, be a positive influence. Stop worrying about all these esoteric things like legacy. Stop worrying about influence and impact on this global scale. And what I really want to do, sidebar, I want to talk to some other really popular creators about this. People who have much bigger platforms and much bigger impacts than me, because I want to know what they set out to do. But personally, and I've talked to my other friends who are writers as well, who I met in college and remain very good friends with, is it appropriate for us to try and reach out and impact the world? Or should we just try and be impactful in our space? And I think that second one is the really important thing. So I don't know. This isn't like a lesson or whatever, but this is my experience in that you find more reward and fulfillment in being impactful and positive to the people near you than if you try and like set out to be some celebrity or something. I don't think that you should aspire to that, because no one gets there. It's such a small percentage of people who reach those big numbers of impact that I think it's much more important to focus on where you will be impactful, and that's the people around you. So that's my thing. So I apologize for that weird sidebar, but I've never had any illusions that I will taint a jury or that I have some sort of magnificent reach. I've always just tried to impact the people in whatever community I'm in positively, whether that's the local business community, my friends, my family. Eventually, it became the Dick Show Facebook group. I was hoping to make people laugh in that. And then from there, I started a YouTube channel where I hope to entertain more and more people as I get into different communities. And that's it. Never thought I belong anywhere outside of my sphere, and I just hope people will come into it and smile. That's it. So Gatsgat says, dude, hashtag LOLsuit the musical by Mr. and Mrs. Rackets. That would be fun. Absolutely. Akazit says, you make me not only happy, but think critically about the laws. Your favorite non-American sit. S-I-T-T. I don't know what the sit is, sir, but, oh, is that how I'm supposed to say your last name? Akasit? I don't know. So anyway, here we go. So that's where I am. And I apologize for that, tangent, or I don't apologize if you enjoyed it. But that's how my brain works. So tainting a possible jury. This is the same one from before. Here we go. All right. Back to Maddox's weird Twitter sexcapades. All right. So Dr. Nurse says, I like it if a guy sits in a chair. That's fun. That's where being short is handy. Okay. Maddox says, yeah, easy to pick up an F. Maddox, I've seen your arms, and I'm not convinced that you can pick up a gallon of milk, much less a woman. Just saying. I'm just saying. Whatever. Up against stuff fun too. Yeah. Look at this NPC dialogue. Do you like certain position? Just depends on the mood. Lie. You like a certain position, Maddox. Or you don't, because I have a long-running theory that Maddox is actually a virgin. Or had sex one time. It's my personal Alex Jones conspiracy theory about Maddox. It's just when he talks, his answers seem like they're programmed by an incel. I'm not calling him an incel, but anyway. The 3D video, I'll answer you in a second. It says, just depends on the mood. Sometimes waking up to spoon sex is amazing when you find yourself effing before you're even fully awake. Huh? Find yourself? Maddox, if you're finding yourself engaged in sexual intercourse, sir, you have been raped. And you should maybe contact your local authorities. You did not give consent if you were asleep. What is he talking about? What is he talking about? Gats Miss Rackets is long asleep. Is long asleep today. I think, unless she's in the chat. All right. So, the 3D video, what do you think of about YouTuber Law, Lior Lesser? I like Lior. I would love to meet Lior. I don't know if it's possible the next time I'm in Florida. If there's any possibility of me meeting Lior and hanging out with him, I would like to do so. We have talked about collaborating on an Internet Bill of Rights video, but we are both very busy people, and I will take all of the blame in not pursuing that video enough. But I think it'll be interesting. But he seems like a very genuine dude, seems very smart, and he writes a lot of his line of business, from what I understand, is primarily doing terms of service and managing that aspect of an online presence. So being Little Spoon. All right. Oh, this I think is going back to maybe me. I'm not positive. But I hate even getting to this point because it sounds like I want you to do something differently. I don't. Listen to the possession. This is the interesting thing about Maddox, because I think, and I don't hold this against Maddox. But I think in his brain, and this came through in the lawsuit when he talked about owning fans or appropriating fans or whatever. I think Maddox has this unrealistic perspective on how people can control other people and what right they have to do so. So him saying, it sounds like I want you to do something differently. I don't. You're allowed to be friends with whoever you want. There's this weird, I'm not going to control you because I don't want to control you type thing. And I don't think this is conscious. I don't think that this is a thing where Maddox thinks, I can own other people. Although I made that 13th Amendment joke. I think Maddox genuinely has been manipulated or controlled so much in his life by the people around him that he thinks that there is this sort of permissive structure involved in that. I find that fascinating. I would love a psychiatrist to analyze this stuff and talk about Maddox, because I think he has, and I think we all do. This is not unique to Maddox. I just find that his particular quirks are very interesting to me. I think he has some very, very unique perspectives on how the world works. Dick has often said that everyone read Maddox's website and thought it was a joke, and then the real sad thing was when we all found out it wasn't. I think, to paraphrase what he said, I think that's a relatively accurate quote of Dick. But yeah, I mean, I think Maddox has some deep-seated idea that you can own and have some, like that at some point in a relationship, you achieve permission to control someone to some extent. And that's not how it works. Like a real relationship does involve some give and take, right? There's some submission that occurs between the two parties, and therefore with that submission comes some level of control. But that is submission. It's consensual. It's mutual. Typically, you relinquish a bit of control of your life to another person, and they relinquish a bit of control over themselves to you. But there's consent to it, and it doesn't mean that the control is absolute. But it just means that there's an exchange that happens. I don't think Maddox sees it as an exchange. I think he sees that there's almost like a hierarchical structure, and as you move up that hierarchy of action or of status, that you earn like rewards on Steam or something. You earn access to something more. That's what I think happens in Maddox's mind subconsciously. Again, and I'm armchair psychologying this absolutely, but it only because it fascinates me. These are not conclusive statements by any means, and they're not derogatory. I find it just an interesting person. Clearly, I don't care. I'm just explaining myself to you, which is all I can do. All you can do. It's such an interesting phrase, isn't it? It's all I can do because I can't exercise control over you. But I think he thinks he can exercise control. I think he thinks, and I'm really projecting this onto him, absolutely, but that if he were in a different proximity of relationship, that he could do that. And that's what's weird and terrifying to me. Do I own nipple clamps? No, I don't. No, I don't. Okay. Next. So this is weird. Yeah, that's fair. BJs are fine, but I'm not crazy about it like some guys unless it's great, which is kind of rare. Okay, Maddox. I've never, Dr. Nurse, I've never had any complaints, but I'm not that skanky girl that sucks wiener on the first date. We're gonna dad this up. I have friends that think it's no big deal. Well, yeah, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Who am I to judge? Let's see. Okay, so now we're back to weird. So we're in full on hashtag sex posting right now. And again, these are only in the order of Twitter. I don't. If I had a nice like chronology, I'd do it. There might be one, but I haven't gone through it. So Maddox says, and do with you what he pleases. Let me see if there's context to that. Oh, I think. Okay. There's a cat. Let's start here. At Joskby, because I'm just going through the releases. There were a couple that pertain to me. Hopefully none of these pertain to me, but we're also going to have a little fun with it. Akasit says Maddox is that guy who collects nice guy stamps. Here we go. Of course, it feels good to resign yourself to a bigger, stronger partner who will take you and do with you what he pleases. Now, I don't know if Maddox is making a statement about himself here. This is a bad statement to have out of context. Maybe it's bad to have in context. This is This is a little bit interesting. Maddox buddy, whatever you meant by this, it's not a good look. Whew. I don't know if he's into like Amazon women. I'm not sure if that's what he's after here. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Maddox wants like a 6'8" chica to come up and just manhandle him into oblivion. That's a thing. So then we've got this. This is the next one. So we get some more insight here. Definitely. I like spreading hips and pulling a woman into me. Into you? That's a little weird. Or flipping her and sliding her back and forth while on me. Okay. Grinding rather than thrusting, if that makes sense. I mean, I guess. I think I see it, but weird. Dr. Nurse says, yes. Also, if from behind, I like my hair pulled just a little. I'm not super BDSM. Well, we know Maddox doesn't like his hair pulled. He's got to hold on to every one of those. He says, yeah. And lightly putting my hand on the neck. Pulling hair back to kiss the neck is hot. She says, yes, that's romantic too. I hate getting effed by someone who is looking at the pillow or holding back, trying not to ejaculate. We're going to even censor that word. Just ejaculate. I'll be around to F more. Okay. Then I think this might be the extension from before. Lydia Schewitz, this is weird. This is very weird. And we're almost done, and we're going to move on to Landau in just a minute. I don't have private messages from Landau detailing his sex life. Thank God. Thank God. Maddox says, and do with you what he pleases. I think this has got to be the manhandled thing, right? Yes. Feels good to resign yourself to a bigger, stronger partner who will take you and do with you what he pleases. And then she says, yes, that's what I need. Too many beta types around. I'll run them like a truck. I don't want that. It's not right or doesn't feel right. Right. Weenies need to GTFO. Oh my goodness. Maddox is occasionally funny. Very funny. And here it is. Weenies need to GTFO. Ha! She says, I'd be too horny not to pounce. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Goodness gracious. I have a Windows update that's trying to start. No, there we go. All right. I had to snooze that baby. All right. I'd be too horny not to pounce. That's good. It's fun during sex to lock a girl's arm down and feel her breath and body tighten with short gasps with thrusting. Okay. I mean, whatever's up for you there, Maddox. I don't know. Like, this is such, I don't want to picture what he's picturing in his head, because I know what I picture when he says it, and it feels a little forced. So, anyway, I think that's it. Oh, wait, nope, there's more. Out of context, this is funny. Out of context, this is really funny. But I think in context will be charitable. I think the question is breasts or buttocks. So Maddox says, I go through phases. I like both, though lately buttocks. Well, it depends, I guess. I really like breasts too. I think I'm just horny. He has very uncouth language with ladies. Ladies, I would never speak to Lady Rackets in the way that Maddox speaks to Dr. Nurse. It's embarrassing. Tillip says, hello, traveler. Would you like to know about how I like sex and stuff? Yes. Yes, this is the point. Maddox is a algorithmic NPC giving you sex-based answers written by someone who seems to have never had it. Let's see. Wait a minute. That's flowers. Okay, that's not anything there. This might be the first one. I'm not effed up to feel anything. You still think I said stuff about your GF. Effing lame. That's some victim blaming BS. I'm allowed to feel wary. Yeah, don't blame Maddox. Maddox is the victim here, Dr. Nurse. How dare you bully this victim? I never said you said anything about Jess. Okay. Victim blaming. You implied. Read a few lines up. Ooh, called him out on it. Oh yeah, I did say that. Look, I don't know what was said, what wasn't, what was added, blah, blah, blah. All I know is you were talking to some dickwart about me and it leaked. And you're still talking to penile blemishes. What is he talking about? Oh, we got more. Jason Benham says, what are Bob's like? I don't know. What's of Virginia? I don't know. Basement expert. Mom brings me some soup. All I have are my bags of sand. Dickward's the sexy version of Hogwarts. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's get into the workflow of Maddox. This will give you an idea of my workflow if you're interested. Nope. I can guarantee you if you start the conversation as Maddox and not as someone like impressively amazing, this will give you an idea of my workflow if you're interested. Guys, this is like walking up to your average telemarketer or your average guy who works at a grocery store and then them saying, let me give you an idea of my workflow. In between conversations and checking on Twitter, I was just in another window responding to YouTube comments. Look at the censorship. I deleted 2 troll comments and blocked 2 more accounts. Good job, Maddox. Good job. You got him, buddy. Maddox, pin it. Let me help you. If someone makes fun of you, pin it. Make it the top comment. Respond with mirth. It's the internet, Maddox. You've made your entire career making fun of people on the internet. And when they do it to you, you delete and block? Pin it. What are you doing? How did you become this? How did you become such a sad example of how not to internet? I checked Facebook and corresponded. You corresponded with a friend who needed some help with something. Another girl who was suicidal and has since become a friend messaged me. I also scrubbed my most recent episode in Premiere for clips to isolate for promoting this week's episode. Do you promote via clips, Maddox? Why? Why do you waste your time doing that? I mean, one, I think you're having real distribution issues. Why are you promoting by clip? Just have people come listen. Have people come listen to the whole episode. Not that I'm an e-commerce expert. You'll have to talk to Rick Rotman for that. But it just seems like you're wasting your time because it's not working. Whatever you're doing, not working. Gatscat says he deleted 2 out of 5 comments and blocked 1 out of 3 of his subs. Zarther, I don't expect him to make any comments. I don't expect anything out of Maddox. But just pin it. Just pin the comment. I know Maddox has been bullied his whole life. Look at him. You know he's been bullied his entire life. He has to know how to deal with it. Look at him. Okay. Again, not making excuses, just giving you it. Yes, you are. Look at you. Look at you. You're talking about how hard your life is, how much people make fun of you, and how you're virtuously helping a girl who tried to commit suicide a while back and has since become your friend. Notice what you did there. You did this timeline confluence. This is a very interesting sympathetic technique in discussion and rhetoric. We have no idea when this girl was suicidal and has since become a friend. Likely in the distant past she was suicidal. However, you included that as a virtue. Look at what I did. I helped someone who was suicidal back then. I'm still virtuous by talking to this person now. Interesting rhetorical technique there, Maddox. But your entire post is an emotional plea to 1, how hard your life is, and 2, how great you are. And it fails miserably upon any scrutiny. So, not making excuses, just giving you an idea of what's going on and why my responses are so slow sometimes. I'm just so busy dealing with the trolls and saving the world. You have a hero complex, pal. All of that happened just in the time we started chatting. I'm trying my best to keep up. If you're upset or frustrated at my lack of response to many of our conversation threads, that's understandable. But please understand, it's not intentional. I'm just over here saving the world. Please don't be mad. Here we go. Let me help with this one. I need to be better with money and investing so I can get a house someday. Ladies and gentlemen, the crowning statement of Maddox's life. I need to be better with money and investing so I can get a house someday. This is a guy who had hundreds of thousands of unique visitors to a website for 20 years and failed to get a house. He failed to get a house. Maddox, you don't need to be better with money and investing. You need to be better with income. Monetize. People will pay you. They've been willing to pay you for 20 years. I promise. They bought your book. You're a New York Times bestseller. Not based on the quality of your writing, but based on your ability to attract an audience of hundreds of thousands of people 19, 20 years ago. You're still bad at monetizing because when you had anything good, you flushed it down the toilet because your brain can't get past some sort of outmoded response to what you think people want because you are an NPC. You have a pre-programmed script. I will not monetize my website. Why? Why, Maddox? Why don't you run a banner ad? Your fans will click on that banner ad for you. I don't want to monetize whatever. Now that you've obliterated probably 90% of your audience, now you want to monetize, but not on your website. It's a weird thing. It's weird. It's like the guy programming you forgot to add in a bunch of comments, like to the code. And then he got fired after programming you, and you got stuck in this weird if-then loop. If make money, then no. That's it. I don't know, guys. I'm not a great coder. like Maddox is. But that's what happened to you. So yeah, for 20 years you could have been making a fortune. You could have been making a fortune. And monetizing would have increased your influence. Believe me, it would have increased your ability to reach more people and make more people laugh, and you didn't do it. It's really sad. It's really sad. And now you're blocking customers, Maddox. You're talking about being better with money. You're blocking customers. And you're calling them horrible names. How do you not understand? You don't have Marvel money to do this. Marvel thinks they can do this because they got $1 billion from Disney. And they have a parent company now that has infinite resources. You don't. You're just a guy on the internet. You can't call people cucks unless it's a joke. You can't insult your audience unless they think it's a joke. But you started doing it for real. This is your problem. All right, so Dr. Nurse, I bought this home in foreclosure in 2018 or 2008 for $750,000. Guys, if you don't know, Dr. Nurse purportedly is a pretty well-off individual. Investing is a skill. It was taught to me young, so I'm savvy enough to dabble in the game. Plus, I'm not your average bird. Maddox says, it was never taught to me. Clearly, Maddox, talk to a professional and stop thinking you're a professional, because you're not. Trying to play catch up. No! Don't try and play catch up. You, Maddox, you are not good at this. Guys who are good at finance, and ladies, they're like 1% of 1% of the population. That's who's good with money. Go pay them for advice and they'll tell you how to do this. There's a million not even. There are a million pseudo experts you could talk to. There are very few experts who would love to help a guy like you because you could monetize and make real money. You have a demonstrated ability to appeal to people for what, I mean, maybe you've crushed it all, but I don't think so. There are guys out there who would help you because making you money will make them money. That's how the business works. Stop trying to be an expert. You're dumb. You're dumb, Maddox. I don't know if you know this. You're just an average idiot. You're just the average idiot like everybody else. Like me, like everybody else. You're the average dummy walking down the street. You're not good at this. You will never be good at finance. You will never catch up. Pay someone. Pay someone. You can't make butter either. You buy it. Pay someone. Stop being a commie. Pay someone. Were you really Mormon? Oh, and so trying to play catch up instead of just sitting here with my wiener. We'll put it in Maddox terms, with my wiener in my hand. Only up until the age of 8. I'm not sure if he's talking about his wiener in his hand until the age of 8 or Mormon, but I'm guessing the Mormon thing. What are you talking about? You're trying to play catch up instead of sitting there fiddling with yourself? No, you're sitting there fiddling with yourself trying to play catch up. Go pay someone. Well, you should start with a Roth IRA. Dr. Nurse, I like you. You're a very nice person, but don't tell Maddox to start with a Roth IRA. At this point in his life, he needs professional help. Don't do this. Don't give him a shortcut to anything. He needs professional financial help. The man is like 60 years old or whatever and lives with 22 roommates because he can't manage money. Don't tell him to start a Roth IRA. Disaster. Cat. My mind is totally in the gutter. Yeah, we know. Whew. Okay, next. You know how you know Maddox is bad with money? Let me help. I can explain this to how Maddox is bad with money. Dick Masterson monetized a feud with someone who won't even fight back. Someone whose entire life on the internet has been about fighting back against whatever perceived ill there is. Won't fight back. Dick Masterson managed to monetize the heck out of fighting with this person. And all he's had to do for the past 2 years is monetize fighting back. He would have made a fortune. He could have moved into his own bunker. Maddox, what are you thinking? This is why you hire someone. Anybody on Earth other than you who has a proven track record of sky kinging every plane you get into right into the pavement with less flair and less relevancy than Sky King. A guy who was... Maddox, a guy who is just a man working at an airport who crashed a plane and died, will be more relevant to an entire generation of people than you will after trying to do it for 20 years. Hire someone. Please. You need a manager. Yeah, I can, I'll zoom in on this. Whoa! Here we go. You can kind of read that. It's really small. Okay. Unbelievable. Unbelievable! Is it unbelievable? Maddox, you sued this man for harassing you, and it's unbelievable that he left 2 comments? Unbelievable. Call the internet's manager, Maddox. That'll help. I just checked my madcastmedia.com comment. Well, that's one person. And Dax has personally harassed me again 2 times last week. Dick's comments. If only he was, only if he was bad enough to win this lawsuit. And then, we want Metal Jess back. She was great. That's not even harassment. That's not even harassment. But the fact that you think it's unbelievable that Dick would razz you after you sued him for it, you literally brought him to court for razzing you. You think it's unbelievable? What's wrong with you? What? Who took your testicles? Who took them and wrapped them in like an edamame shell and put all the soy into your body? Like, who did this to you, Maddox? What happened? Where'd you go? Oh my gosh. Landon Mac and James says, what's more illegal, cuckery or anime Nick? Nick Senpai. Cuckery should be more illegal than anime. Zeville, I'd recommend 529 college savings plan. Then he can retake that math test tax free. Okay. Why do you think the iTunes feed is hopeless? I don't know, Maddox. I can only think of several million reasons that it's hopeless. Our old manager told me Dax gave him authorization to transfer the feed. He has no claim to it. Let's see what Reddit post he quoted here. Their old manager, Handy Randy. Can I even see this? Can I even see this? I can't even see it. Dang it. Oh, man. I wish I could read that post. I bet it's funny. Here's why you have no claims to the iTunes feed. Because the iTunes feed isn't copyrightable or trademarkable. It's literally who has the password, who started the account. They own it. That's how it goes. You dummy. All right, so this one's about 80s girl. You mean the girl that he is dating? She is my ex. She has an axe to grind it because she tried to get back together with me, and I turned her down because I had moved on. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh, man. Oh, man. All right, I don't think I need to explain this too much. The only question I have is why 80s girl ever dated Maddox. Why any girl has ever dated Maddox is beyond me. I don't get it. I don't get it. Seems like a tool. Funny to immature men and boys. It's self-included. Immature man and boy all day. I love immature jokes. Okay? Love them. Don't know why any woman is attracted to Maddox. We'll never understand it. But I don't, I don't know. So in my head, I still don't believe it actually happened. I'm in denial. I'll need to probably go to therapy someday to figure out how any of this happened. Okay. Well, that's common. Everybody's seen Maddox blocking you. I don't know what this is. Oh, here we go. Here's where I'm calling the police came from. Where Tiger Ray? Yeah, he was married. He was married to, gosh, I don't remember her name. Someone remembers her name. She's a translator, a Chinese translator. And if I try to remember her name right now, it'll be really offensive because I'm wrong. He was married. I met 80s girl in person too. She was extremely sweet and very, very pretty. Very pretty lady. Way out of Maddox's league. Absolutely. She's also like a teacher. None of it makes sense to me. But people do what people do. Landon Mack and James says, the only thing worse than Maddox still lying in DMs is that Dick won't admit he eats 80s girls' beehole on Twitter. My rage against that man is real. Okay. All right. So here we go. Her name is Kim Jong. I don't think so. And let me be clear. I am not the person, because Maddox thinks I'm a stalker, okay? I am not the person who found out about Maddox's marriage at all. I'm not that person. I don't have the documents about Maddox's divorce. I don't have any of that. I'm not the person who found that out. So, Gatscat says he hired her to tutor him in math and she felt bad. Whoa. Okay, here we go. So anyway, I could look her up real quick. What's her name? We'll do this. For the stream, we'll look her up. No, it's not this. That can't be right. What's her name? Oh my gosh. Yo-Yo Chinese. And her name is literally Yang Yang Cheng. Okay. It's Yo-Yo Chinese. There you go. I'm 99% sure of that it's Yo-Yo Chinese, Yang Yang Cheng. There you go. That's her name. So, And I'm sure, don't ever contact her. I'm sure that's a dark chapter of her life that she would like to forget. All right. So, when Dr. Nurse first started sharing private details, which are contents of some Twitter DMs, when she first started doing that, Maddox lost his mind. He says, "Wow, you're sharing private details with me about me with my harasser? I'm calling the police. I'm calling the police." What details? They will laugh, moron. Yes. Hello, 911. Yeah, what is your emergency? Dr. Nurse is on Twitter, and she is sharing the contents of our private conversation. What's your emergency? Someone will know that I like to be picked up and handled by bigger men. Like, what? How does that conversation even look, you idiot? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Then she starts hitting the reality. The reality switch kicks on. But this is an NPC script, right? This is an NPC script. You don't even know what city I live in? Question mark. Which cops to call? F off. Really? They're going to follow up to take a report within the next hour. Of what? What report? She told people what we talked about. Okay. How can we help you, ma'am? That's how I expect the cop to respond to Maddox. Oh my gosh. Yes, stop sharing my private details and stop harassing me. Maddox, it's not harassment. It's not harassment. Where do I work? Cops don't work that fast. PSA Ciego, a public service agent. I don't know who Ciego is. I don't know who PSA Ciego is. Maybe that's the person that called her, because allegedly she got a call. She did get a call from someone. You're mocking yourself. That didn't send. Message not sent. You're mocking yourself. What county do I live in? My employer too. Nothing I have said is illegal. Illegal. Stop wasting law enforcement's time. I'm going to call my local cops on you for making false threats. How about that? I know my cops and not trying to hide stuff like you. Money launder much. Money launder much. That's an interesting thing. I don't know what that's about. But I'm curious. What's the money laundering thing? Officer Heather will be contacting you via email soon to tell you to stop harassing Maddox. Oh, don't say White Cat. I'm starving, man. The Maddox camp has been previously, allegedly documented calling people posing as police officers. Yeah. Okay, I think that's... Look at all these cats. Okay, I think that's the end of the Maddox leaks. Cats and flowers and gays. See? If God hates gays, why are we so cute? Wasn't making a joke. Not cute, if I have to say so. Not cute. Wow. I mean, I don't think he's representative of all gays, but that was not a cute person. Yeah, I've listened to the Dick Show album. It is very good. It's very good. Okay. So, we're going to have a short break time. And if you guys have anything, please let me know what it is. What I'm going to try and do during this... Let me see. Yeah, you've got my chat window up here. I need it off of my other monitor for a minute. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, hold on. Chats are going to be on the screen for a minute. I'm going to look for, I didn't get a chance to pull up these Rovier Carrington documents all the way. So while I look for them, if you guys have any comments or questions, you're in Boomer Hour now. You're in Boomer Hour now. So I'm bringing up these documents. I want to see what's gone on. Oh, this will be interesting. So I'm going to be pulling up these documents. So if you have any questions about any of my recent topics, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll try and answer while I look for something interesting. Oh my goodness. In this case, there's, just so you guys know, there are 83 filings in this case. So I have to kind of sift through and try and find the interesting stuff. When do you sleep? Not enough. Niels Abel, is there some legal nuance to Roe versus Wade that you can TLDR? Sure. Can you give me a little bit of direction on that legal nuance that you're looking for? Northman, did I ever get in contact with Sargon? I have sent him an email to the email address he gave to me to send him. He has not responded. But I do have his contact on Discord. I'm going to follow up with him. I know that he's got to get like just dumped on with a whole lot of stuff, but I really, really do want to talk to Sargon. Yeah, I really do. So here's a motion to withdraw as attorney. And guys, my Pacer bill has gone through the roof from this channel. Let's see. Let's we'll pull this document. 20 pages. We're not going to look at all this. Let's see if we can find this real quick. Sure. Oh my gosh. I apologize for Boomer Hour. We'll get this pulled up in just a second. Let me... There we go. There we go. Here's the motion to withdraw as counsel. Where's Niels Abel? Does the Roe versus Wade ruling just come down to whether or not women have the right to an abortion? Are there implications, precedents, and ruling that are worth diving into? No, Roe versus Wade is very interesting. They created something that actually we do value. We do absolutely value a right to privacy in our medical affairs. What Roe versus Wade did was establish it established a right to privacy in medical affairs. And it also established that the state has a right to, or an interest in protecting the life of an unborn pending, we'll call it a pending citizen or civilian. Okay? So a state has a right to protect an unborn child because it will become a resident or citizen of that state, even though at the time of Roe versus Wade, they didn't recognize a fetus as a life. It is a potential life and one that will manifest into a citizen. So the state has an interest there, but that interest comes into conflict with a woman's right to privacy in her medical decisions, in her discussions with her doctor, and that right it's created out of thin air. Like the explicitness of it is created out of thin air, out of the Ninth Amendment. But I will say that right is an important right that we value. I don't know how much we really derive medical privacy from Roe versus Wade, but we can derive medical privacy from Roe versus Wade. So that's an important thing. But it's also important to know that we don't really use Roe versus Wade as the actual legal standard for the right to abortion anymore. We use Planned Parenthood versus Casey, which changed the Roe versus Wade standard, and changed it from women have a right to abortion within the first 2 trimesters, and then it's up to the state after that. Planned Parenthood versus Casey says women have a right to an abortion up to the point of fetal viability, and then the state has an interest as soon as the fetus becomes viable. The state has an interest in stepping in and taking over, and their right then supersedes the right of a woman's privacy and medical concerns. Okay? Now, fetal viability is currently around 24 weeks. However, states are ripe to push against that. I believe North Dakota has outlawed abortion prior to 24 weeks, something like 18 weeks, or has proposed it at least. Iowa has proposed something similar as well. And as those cases come through, the question will be, since this fetal viability standard is controlling, at what point is a fetus viable? Because medical technology theoretically will constantly push fetal viability towards conception. So at some point in the far future, when we can take a fertilized egg out of a person and put it in an artificial womb and grow a baby, will abortion be legal? Is a good question. Hope that helps. Sorry. One, two. So the circumcised people suing for having their reproductive organs mutilated. Do you think there's a future for child penis rights? No, maybe. I don't know. All right. Motion to withdraw part of the new consent rules in universities. Let's go with this. So let me see if I have the initial document also. I think that'll be something we need to talk about. Do we have a complaint? Here's the amended complaint. "85 pages? What is wrong with you, Landau? Gosh. It's a $6 document." Okay. I'm not going to go through this entire complaint. I'm not going to go through this entire complaint, but I want to refresh people on just kind of the preliminary statement is what we'll go through so people know what this case is about. Amended complaint and jury demand. No, Neil's able. Roe versus Wade is really complicated. And the question is, can you be for, like you asked if you can be, if being against Roe versus Wade was equivalent to being against abortion. Maybe not. But I think the more important question is, should we be against abortion, but advocate to keep Roe versus Wade, or at least keep the important parts of Roe versus Wade? So let's, but anyway, let's, oh, we got to get rid of Yang. Let's talk real quick about what this complaint is about, because this is a very serious lawsuit. Preliminary statement. In the instant case is yet another example of depravity existing throughout an industry now synonymous with sexual deviancy. I'm not going to say that Landau is a grab-on, but Landau looks like he's a grab-on with these cases. It, however, is not a story of the buxom blonde or graceful starlet, but of a young man, bolded. It's bolded, so I got to be louder, who you need a Landau! You need a comma! But of a young man who, comma, left to the devices of a powerful few, comma, became the toy, a prop. Became the toy, a prop. Semicolon. Used at that's not a proper semicolon. Take all the money you're fleecing out of these people and go to an English class. Used at the pleasure of those who could, and was discarded just as unceremoniously. So he was unceremoniously raped? Or was he... with only the memory of horrific acts, comma, resentment of having his intellectual property stolen, comma, recipient of indefinite, illusory promises used as a vehicle for manipulation, comma, and the pain that never goes away from being anally raped. The pain that never goes away from being anally raped. If that's a sentence that doesn't belong somewhere, I don't know. And assaulted in a drug-induced state. This is plaintiff's reality, and he demands justice. He demands justice. Someday we'll have to go back and revisit Rovier versus Carrington and really dig into the whole case here, because I'm curious what the amended complaint says. But long story short, Rovier versus Carrington is about the grandson, the alleged grandson of Moe from the Three Stooges. That's Rovier. Or not Rovier versus Carrington. Rovier Carrington versus Graydon. He is the alleged grandson of Moe from the Three Stooges, and he alleges that both Brian Graydon and Brad Gray raped him. Brad Gray is dead, and he is suing the estate. Brian Graydon, these are both producers with Viacom and Paramount Pictures, and so he is suing Brian Graydon and Brad Gray for all of the anal raping that was done. Now, let me see real quick if I can find out what happened since that amended complaint. Oh gosh, that's not even the correct. There's another amended complaint. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Scheduling order, motion for leave to file documents, motion for conference, a bunch of letters, status report letters, pre-motion conference, memo endorsement letter order. Look at all these motions. Motion for discovery, letter. What's this letter? I got to see what one of these letters is. Good Lord, these are long. This is from the Landau group. Oh, this is interesting. Sorry, you guys aren't seeing this. I've got to download this real quick because I'll have to dig through this. You're watching me learn this case on the fly. Is there a world record for amended complaints? There's got to be. There's got to be, but I don't know what it is. So this letter is the Landau group explaining that they're not cooperating with discovery. Okay, so we've got a bunch of emails. Boring stuff. Hold on, I'm skimming. I apologize. I know this is compelling and good TV. Plaintiff respectfully requests the court to review PTG's report, the attached evidence and communication set forth here too, and afford plaintiff the same or similar access relative to Mr. Graydon's applicable email account. So the Landau, how do I explain this? This is going to take a lot of digging, and I won't be able to do this all in the stream. I won't be able to do all of this on the stream. Otherwise, we're going to be here for days, and I'm going to be just fumbling through, and that's not compelling TV. So we're going to get to Landau's motion to withdraw in just a second here. And we'll talk about that real quick, because I think that's where we're going to find the interesting stuff. But let me summarize what I'm seeing in this letter. This letter immediately predates this motion to withdraw. And this is important because everything I've seen from Kevin Landau looks like this. Okay? Everything I've seen from Kevin Landau looks like this. He brings a case. He files infinity motions. He sues way more parties than are possibly responsible for the case. Each of those parties has to have responses to his motions, and then he has to respond to those responses. It racks up ridiculous amounts of billable hours. And then he goes away. He runs away from the case. For whatever reason, he runs away from the case. Usually after some hints of impropriety. Either a faulty expert, like in Almaciga, where he brought in a handwriting expert. The handwriting expert disagreed with him, so he fired that handwriting expert, got a new handwriting expert, sent samples to that handwriting expert that are laughably ridiculous, and then got slapped down by the court. Or in Maddox's case, when it came out that he permitted his client to perjure himself under oath and then admit to that perjury under oath and admit to perhaps a criminal act in New York as in addition to the criminal act of perjury. Then once that all drops, Landau Group scurries away like cockroaches when the lights turn on, right? So now, immediately after being called out for potentially not cooperating with Discovery, and guys, if you don't cooperate with Discovery, bad move. This is the whole point of Discovery, is that it's a cooperative and collaborative process to find the truth. It looks like they got accused of not cooperating with Discovery, and lo and behold, a few minutes later, they scurry away, begging to withdraw as counsel. So now let's look at that withdrawal. Let's see. The undersigned firm of the Landau Group moves this court before the Honorable Catherine Polk Faila, United States District Judge for the Southern District of New York, on a date and time to be set by the court for an order pursuant to Local Rule 1.4, granting its motion to withdraw as counsel for plaintiff, award all reasonable attorney's fees, expert fees, and costs pursuant to a subsequent attorney fee application and hearing if necessary, and that the court grant a stay of proceedings for a reasonable amount of time. This is what they do. They, being Kevin Landau. I can't speak for the Landau Group, but this is what Kevin Landau seems to do with frequency. File for dismissal from the case, so he withdraws, and then the huge bill that he racked up by suing parties that don't belong, by filing frivolous motions, by sending endless correspondence to the court, he then demands an attorney's lien on that work. It looks like a scumbag thing, and I bet the bill in this case is massive, massive, massive. How has he not been disbarred? I don't know. I don't know. Because I think from the outside, it sure looks like he's a complete dirtbag. But the last time I said he was a complete dirtbag, I got ethics charges against me. So if you weren't around for that stream yet, that was a good time. He lost dramatically. So here's the affirmation. Kevin A. Landau affirms the following. We're not going to go through this whole document, maybe. Subject to the penalties for perjury. I am an attorney admitted to practice law in the state of New York and counsel to plaintiff herein. I was admitted pro hac vice. I've been pronouncing this pro hac vice. That's my Texan coming out. Pro hac vice. It's pro hac vice. Sorry out there to those who are disturbed by my lack of Latin pronunciation. It's pro hac vice. Vici? I don't even know. I don't really care. But here we go. To represent plaintiff Rovier Carrington in the above captioned matter, I'm the managing partner of the law firm, the Landau Group PC. Sad state of affairs. I have personal knowledge of the matters set forth below, and the exhibits annexed here too are true copies of the original documents. Landau Group PC seeks leave to withdraw as counsel of record for plaintiff because 1. There has been a breakdown in communication between plaintiff and the Landau Group, which has seriously impaired the Landau Group's ability to represent plaintiff in this matter. I haven't read this document, but I imagine that breakdown in communication is, you told me that this was a sure deal. You told me that we would have a good road to victory. You told me this wouldn't cost $150,000. You told me that this was going to be happening, that they would fold. You told me this. Whoa. That's the breakdown in communication. I think this is an opinion, Landau. It's not defamation. You being a scumbag, in my opinion, is not defamation, you scumbag. As a result of such breakdown, plaintiff has advised counsel that he has, quote, other lawyers and such communications have ceased. Good, Rovier. See if they can salvage this case for you. I bet not. Prior to making this motion, the breakdown was such that plaintiff informed the Landau Group that he has other lawyers to represent him, and the Landau Group advised plaintiff, why did he get other lawyers, Landau? And Landau Group advised plaintiff that a motion to withdraw as his counsel would be filed with the court forthwith on the grounds set forth herein. Plaintiff has therefore requested and consented to the Landau Group's withdrawal as his counsel in the matter. Counsel is unaware of the actual name or identity of the other lawyers, but communications with plaintiff have discontinued. Notwithstanding, counsel has thoroughly informed and reiterated plaintiff's requirement. Yes, it says has. Reiterated plaintiff's requirement for device production on or before September 30th in compliance with the court's most recent order. Later Tillip. There's no V sound in Latin. It's a U sound pronounced weeke. I'll believe you, but lawyers will make fun of me if I pronounce it that way because I've seen how lawyers pronounce it, and that's not the way either. I don't think anybody knows how to pronounce this stuff anymore, and it doesn't matter. That's the grand scheme of it. It doesn't actually matter. The Landau Group has performed a substantial amount of work in this matter for plaintiff in connection with the pleadings, briefings, letters, court appearances, and challenges by defendants. And I bet the quality is just top shelf. The top shelf quality that the Landau Group has been come to be known for, where they just keep winning. Guys, go look up the Landau Group for yourself, and you make a determination on if it's worth hiring Kevin Landau. You go look at that win-loss record in New York. You can pull up. You just go to the New York website, the New York court's website. You search by attorney Kevin A. Landau, Esquire, and you look up the good results he gets for his clients. Go look up that win record and see if it justifies that $600 an hour price tag that he has. No, Maddie P. You go to bed whenever you need to. Just go look at it. Go look at it. He does. I mean, it's a pattern and it's disgusting. I hate guys like this. Okay. Despite the substantial amount of work undertaken on plaintiff's behalf, the breakdown was such that counsel and plaintiff will discontinue their attorney-client relationship. Particularly, probably because I don't even know, but I'm betting you're getting BTFO'd as a result of strained communications between the Landau Group and plaintiff, which has seriously impaired counsel's ability to further represent plaintiff in this matter. Landau Group has provided a substantial amount of legal services to plaintiff prior to and throughout this litigation since its commencement. Here we go. Here we go. Here it is. Look at this. Look at this. This guy needs to go. Since its commencement, including challenges from very competent, tenacious, and diligent adversaries. You think so? Here's the money shot, y'all. The Landau Group has expended over 400 hours of time representing plaintiff in this matter, including liberal accessibility over evenings, weekends, and holidays to discuss his case and advise him of the proceedings. This necessarily resulted in counsel devoting considerable resources. 400 hours. 400 hours. Where's my math machine? $500 an hour. We'll say that's below his discounted rate, by the way, times 400. That's a bill in excess of $200,000 that Landau is trying to stick Rovier with without finishing the lawsuit. 400 hours. There are 83 filings in this case. 400 hours? Oh my gosh. It's 5 hours per filing. And they're not all Landau's. Despite the foregoing, plaintiff has not paid the Landau Group any compensation for its services. None, Landau? Nor has plaintiff paid for any of the costs and expenses incurred in this litigation, e.g. filing fees, service of process fees, expert witness fees, and private investigator fees. You want to know why? Do you want to know why? Because I know this is what's happening. Landau says, I'm guessing. I don't actually know. I have no intelligence to make this a true statement. No way of knowing this. But I'd love to talk to Rovier about it. I bet Landau says, you won't have to pay us until we win. And then they bail after doing all the work. And then they'll say, well, we did this work. We knew we would win. We did all the work. As such, the aforementioned breakdown in plaintiff's recent decision to terminate the Landau Group's representation and proceed with his other lawyers has resulted in substantial sums of unpaid and outstanding legal fees for services rendered in the above captioned action, as well as extensive costs incurred on plaintiff's behalf. Landau Group has advised plaintiff of his failure to pay the Landau Group any legal fees despite terminating its representation and his failure to pay any other costs incurred in connection with the above captioned matter. Accordingly, in addition to the court allowing the Landau Group to withdraw, counsel also requests that the court order plaintiff to pay the Landau Group a reasonable amount of attorney's fees and expenses so that vendors and expert witnesses may be fairly compensated. Guys, we have expert witnesses. Expert witnesses cost a fortune, so they're being paid as well. I wonder if they were helpful to the case. Currently, the court has a pending order in this matter relative to ordering plaintiff to produce certain devices by September 30th. A status conference was held on September 18th. Landau Group has provided a copy of the instant motion to plaintiff and advised plaintiff on several occasions of the court's order and that he is required to comply, including production of his device. Failure to do so may result in sanction or contempt of court. Respectfully, the Landau Group. So then the notice of motion to withdraw his counsel. Here's his... We're not going to go through this stuff. This is the memo. I'm sure it's brilliant. That's that, guys. I'll probably do a dive into these documents, and I will verify if my suspicions are correct. I will verify. My suspicions, to recap, is that Landau suckers people in to hiring him with the promises of not having to pay until the end of the case. Then there's always a breakdown after it starts to look like Landau has no idea what he's doing and is about to get his client not... Look at this. I mean, the pattern here. Rovier, if he doesn't comply with production by September 30th, let's see if he did. Let's see if he did. Yeah. Let's see if he, here we go. September 30th. Here's an endorsed letter. Let's see what this letter says. Okay. So Rovier Carrington has requested to proceed pro se, which means without another attorney. He will be filing a motion to remove the case to California because he has a Los Angeles attorney, and all of the defendants are in California. Does this sound familiar? Landon, oh yeah, I'll read your Ava super chat in just a second. Does this sound familiar? All of the parties are in California. You have Brian Graydon, Brad Gray, who's dead, so he doesn't live anywhere, but his estate is in California. Viacom and Paramount obviously are in California. Why is this case in New York, Kevin frickin' Landau? Why is it there? Okay, sorry. I got 2 super chats that I missed. 3 super chats. Where is... I'll have to find the other one. Rhino says the English language is being anally raped. Yes, it was and still is. Cave says the pain that never goes away from reading a sentence with 10 commas and a semicolon. Yes, thank you guys. Thank you so much. I'm sorry for not getting to those earlier. I was just getting a little too pissed off at this scumbag. Let me see if I can find Landon's... oh, here we go. What is your legal thoughts on Evangelion not being legally licensed to be bought, streamed, or purchased right now without eBay DVDs and no Blu-rays? Seems like trash and sounds a lot like Macross. Welcome to the past 30 years of my life. Hope that helps know how it feels. Guys, all California parties still filed in New York by Kevin Landau. What on earth is he doing? Landau, get licensed in California if you want to practice there. Just practice in California. I don't want to send an ethics complaint about Kevin Landau. That's not my job. It's not my role. It's not Evangelion. It's Evangelion. Okay, whatever. I actually waffle back and forth between the two. I like them. I like the show quite a bit and the movies. Yeah. So anyway, all right, guys, it's been a minute. I think we need to wrap up the stream because I'm about to pop. But notice what's happened. He has faced sanctions. His client, I should say, has faced sanctions. Landau skedaddles. It's filed in New York for no reason any of us can figure out. You know, there you go. I don't know what else to say. This guy is a shyster. He looks like a shyster. Everything he says seems engineered to rack up billable hours. Never seems to win. Always seems to withdraw right at the worst time for his client. And at the maximum amount that he can maybe get away with getting massive legal fees ordered to him. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting, Landau. I'll have to go back and check his other New York cases that we started covering. He covered a woman who accused a like a billionaire hedge fund manager of raping her too. I wonder if he's withdrawn from that case. I don't know. I'll check it out. We might have to have a Landau specific live stream and just cover this guy's antics. It's really disturbing and disgusting how he's acting. But guys, I need to go to bed. What about NPC memes? Oh, I don't have any NPC memes right now. Would I be willing to fist fight LanDUI? Sure, for charity or something. We could throw on some gloves, get a ref of some sort, like a guy named Jerry from the local bar, and we could throw down. I'd have a significant reach advantage. I'm a little younger than him too, I think. But yeah, we could do that. Landau, if you want to fist fight for charity, let's do it, buddy. But anyway. This guy reeks of misrepresentation, and it's disgusting. So we'll have to. What is going on here? Oh, nothing important. We'll have to delve into this one and the other ones. Maybe we'll do a Landau expose sometime, but just anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. Almost every day. I love hanging out with you guys and chatting and talking about all these weird issues. NPC memes. I don't have any NPC memes, but the NPC meme itself in general is hilarious. I love it, and we'll be talking more about it. The NPC Lyfe that I was talking about is Maddox and Landau. They have a script. They're programmed. It's embarrassing. They almost don't seem real, but that's how it's going. That's how it's going. Don't call someone an NPC on Twitter though. If you do that, you're a hateful dehumanizer, and you should be banned. Because banning people is the way. Guys. If anybody has an in with the CEO of Gab, I know that's a long pull. I want to talk to him because he's incorrectly citing federal law about banning Lolly. But I want to talk to him about that. But I really want to talk to him about the platform he's building. If there's any way you can help me get a line to him, please support that. I would love to have that guy on the show and talk about the legal issues that he's had with Stripe and PayPal and stuff like that. Because censorship is a real thing. It's really happening, and we've got to fight against it. And even though Gab is censoring Lolly, I think largely Gab is on the path to being an alternative that is opposed to censorship in large amounts. So, but I want to talk about that type of stuff with him. Anyways, I think that's it. I love you all. We'll see you soon. Probably tomorrow night. I'll hopefully post a little earlier the live stream topic, and we'll get on it. We'll get on it. You guys have a beautiful evening. Talk to you all soon. I'm going to blank out the screen. When I see it go blank, I'll shut it down. Peace.